Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And what you need to know this morning, we have fire danger this afternoon, and then tonight a frost advisory. I'll go over both.
Also, right now on Fox 50 at 8 o'clock, reforming health care. Nurses will gather in downtown Raleigh today. Their push to improve patient care as legislators consider multiple health care bills. Plus, a Wolfpack welcome, a standing ovation as NC State introduces its new head basketball coach. The confidence from Will Wade as he steps into the new role. A lot of people excited about that. We'll have it all coming up for you here at 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey. A beautiful start to our Wednesday morning, but a chilly start. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. Coats are necessary this morning.
I'm definitely comfortable in the shade and a coat. The wind hasn't been too strong yet this morning, but it's likely to pick up later on today. I'll take a live look at the gardens behind me, and I tell you what, from here I can count a handful of azalea blooms. But boy, I tell you what, in the next week to 2 weeks, it is going to really explode out here and be just beautiful. It's 47 right now with the wind just out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. A couple of 30s have shown up on the map this morning. Still 36 in Roxborough, but 41 now in Southern Pines, 48 in Rocky Mount, 41 degrees in Goldsboro. We do have our fire risk again today with the winds starting to gust this afternoon around 15 to 20 miles per hour. We've had a lot of trouble with fires across the state, especially in western North Carolina, but down into South Carolina too. Temperatures only in the mid 60s this afternoon, about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Coming up, I'm going to show you our frost advisory and who's affected tonight.
And Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. This is a live look at I-540 at 401 or the Triangle Town Boulevard. You can see some of the backups there as we've been reporting this crash that you see on the traffic map. We're about to show that to you. And you can see some of the backups, especially as you go farther to the east, coming in to the capital city. That's where you see those yellows and reds. Heading toward Capitol Boulevard is where that crash has been reported. We'll keep tabs on that, let you know if it changes, because this just changed. The I-87 crash at New Hope Road in eastern Wake County, that has since cleared. So if you're heading toward the Beltline, that's certainly some good news coming in out of places like Knightdale, Wendell, and Zebulon. And hey, speaking of that, the delay time went from 30 minutes to now it's just 14 minutes. So that is certainly improving so far this morning. Again, something we'll keep tabs on, as that tends to be one of the slower spots, as does Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard. That's about a 12-minute delay. If you're on the go, listen to us on the radio, 101.5 HD3. That's anywhere in the Triangle.
Thanks, Chris. Today, nurses from across the state will gather at the Legislative Building in downtown Raleigh, where you are looking live this morning. They're pushing for changes to healthcare legislation. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Halifax Mall. And Kelsey, we know lawmakers are considering several healthcare reform bills today.
Yes, Michelle, they are. A dozen healthcare bills will be presented in the Senate today, and we're expecting to see hundreds of nurses here at the Halifax Mall rallying about some of that legislation. Lawmakers are proposing bills on pricing transparency, practicing licenses, and more psychiatric beds. Nursing groups and lawmakers from both sides of the aisle will discuss giving advanced practice registered nurses more authority, a move they say saves money by cutting down on needless red tape. Governor Josh Stein is scheduled to speak to a group of nurses at the Raleigh Convention Center this morning. Then that group will head to Halifax Mall for the rally. After that, those nurses will meet with lawmakers and attend committee hearings. Governor Stein is scheduled to speak this morning at 10 o'clock, and that rally here at Halifax Mall is scheduled for this afternoon at 1. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we'll stay on top of all of these developments today in the state legislature. Watch WRAL News from 4 to 7:30 this evening. Tonight, Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell will give her first State of the City address. Cowell will speak at 6 o'clock tonight at the Raleigh Convention Center. She plans to talk about what she and City Council have achieved in her first 100 days. Their top priority areas have been housing and ending homelessness, public safety, and resilience and quality of place. And no one is hurt after a house fire in Raleigh. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on the scene on Tuna Street, not far from Lewisburg and Mitchell Mill Roads. Authorities say the fire started at about 9 o'clock last night. They say it was a minor fire. No one was home at the time. Investigators are working to determine how that fire started. And today, a Durham man is expected in court on a murder charge in connection with a crash of a stolen car that killed a man. Court documents show 20-year-old Shyrone Evans is charged in the death of 53-year-old Jermaine Clements. Authorities accuse Evans of stealing a car on Mount Moriah Road last week. That car crashed into a vehicle early last Wednesday on US 15501. Clements, who was in that other vehicle, was killed. Arrest warrants claim Evans was found hiding in a car at a nearby Kia dealership. A Wayne County family is not giving up hope in their search for a missing man. Loved ones say 32-year-old Stephon Walls reported him missing on March 17th. Sheriff's deputies say they've conducted searches near the Neuse River. Wall's mother says she has little information to work with other than being told he was last spotted at a store in Seven Springs.
There's been no video evidence of him being anywhere but that store in Seven Springs that morning. At the time, we did not know he was missing.
Walls is about 5'10" and weighs about 120 pounds. A spokesperson with Wayne County tells WRAL detectives are actively investigating but have no other details right now. Wayne County school leaders are working toward consistency as they try to regulate phone usage in classrooms. A new district-wide policy would require students to turn their phones off, put them on silent, or put them on airplane mode. Nearly all schools already have a cell phone policy, but more than 80% of parents and educators still think cell phones are a problem in school. Students, families, and educators all say enforcement is inconsistent.
That the policies and the procedures are not drastically different. And we were having some issue with that, and we're trying to make things more uniform across 200 schools.
And school board members can discuss and make changes to the policy over the next month. A final vote is expected in May. A teacher at Willow Oak Montessori School in Chatham County is at the center of an investigation over inappropriate contact with students. The sheriff's office is looking into accusations involving 2 students. WRAL obtained a note that was sent to parents stating that the school is aware of serious allegations against a faculty member. It went on to say the employee has not been on campus and they are following professional guidance. No charges have been filed yet. And covering Wake County, a new clinic will give free dental work to uninsured children. The no-cost clinic will be part of the Wake County Western Health and Human Services Center in Cary. And instead of a ribbon cutting, they'll host a floss cutting this morning. The initiative is funded by a grant from the NC Office of Rural Health. Today's event gets started in about 5 minutes at 8:15. New NC State men's basketball coach Will Wade is not shying away from high expectations. Wade was met with a standing ovation as he was introduced at Reynolds Coliseum yesterday. He is fresh off back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances with McNeese State. Wade was fired from LSU in 2022 after a federal investigation into recruiting violations. He said he wasn't sure he would get another opportunity like this, and now that it's here, he plans to win and win big.
I just couldn't be more excited. Our time is right now. Our time is right now. This is the first time in a while, I think, the fans, the administration, and the program were all on one accord.
Wade also spent time as head coach at Chattanooga and VCU. Well, today, bus drivers from across North Carolina will compete to be our state's bus driving champion. The annual North Carolina Bus Rodeo tests drivers' knowledge of bus laws and regulations and, of course, their driving skills. This is video of last year's event. The winner will represent North Carolina at the International Driving Competition this summer. It all gets started at 10 a.m. at the State Fairgrounds. Well, coming up, return of the bathroom bill. Lawmakers consider new legislation restricting restroom use in some state buildings. The changes to the bill 9 years after a similar bill caused major controversy. And bridge safety improvements. It's been 1 year since the collapse of the Baltimore Bridge. How the tragedy helped uncover more than 60 other safety concerns across the country.
And the winds will pick up later this afternoon, so we do have brush fire danger again today. I'll show you how long it may be before we break this pattern.
Welcome back. 8:12 on your Wednesday morning as we take a live look over a beautiful sunny Durham this morning. Plenty of blue skies and sunshine. It is a little chilly to start your day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is on the WRAL weather patio with our forecast. It's going to warm up, not too much, but it'll still be nice.
It's still going to be a beautiful day today. We have dry conditions in our forecast for today, and really, all the way up until Sunday will be our next chance for some rain. So we take a look at the cameras across the area. Fayetteville looking pretty, as well as Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, just gorgeous sunshine everywhere. Chapel Hill, of course, courtesy of Top of the Hill restaurant. Our next weather maker doesn't arrive until Sunday, really. Now we sort of set the stage for it on Saturday. Our wind will shift to southerly. It starts to warm up. We'll see a high of 80 degrees, and we'll see more moisture in the atmosphere as well. We may see some scattered storms Sunday afternoon, but the main front will come through on Monday afternoon, and that's when we'll have the best chance of some severe storms. Taking a look at the big picture right now, all is quiet. That high pressure system that is diving over, say, Omaha right now is pushing some cool air in from the north and east. And so we're going to stay nice and cool for the next couple of days. Now we get to Sunday and we'll start off with dry conditions, but mid to late afternoon, we'll see some rain and thunderstorms well ahead of our front. And then here comes the front, and that will affect us on Monday. Likely to be dry in the morning. And then as we get through the afternoon and evening, we'll have that potential for some scattered storms. Some of those could be strong to severe. How much rainfall? Right now, I feel like the models are a little bit low on those rainfall totals, anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Probably when this gets closer and we get a closer look at it, the models may bump us on up. I feel like probably 1/2 an inch to 3/4 of an inch, since we've got 2 rounds of this coming through. Outdoor plans over the weekend. Saturday, absolutely great. Green light, warm, breezy. Should be a wonderful day to be outside. Sunday, we put the caution light on. We have the chance for thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Keep checking back if you have outdoor plans, and we'll be fine tuning that. Right now, we don't think we'll see severe storms on Sunday. That severe storm threat on Sunday is to our west, but on Monday, we could end up with a level 2 risk for severe storms as we get closer. Temperatures will be mild over the weekend. 80 Saturday, 77 on Sunday, and then very exciting there, day 7 on Tuesday. It is the Durham Bulls home opener. It looks sunny for now.
And Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. This is a still image just a couple moments ago from I-540 at Triangle Town Boulevard, and it does look as though things are starting to move along a little bit more smoothly than they were moments ago, because we did have reports of a crash on I-540 at Triangle Town Boulevard. Now, another crash that has cleared, that's the one that was on I-87 this morning. It was out at New Hope Road. That, again, has since cleared, and I've noticed that the delay time has improved by a lot if you're coming in on I-87. Now, 15-minute delay is kind of the standard this time of morning. Before, it was about a half-hour delay that was estimated. So, again, good news on that front. Another one of our slow spots tends to be US 1 Capitol Boulevard coming in from Wake Forest toward Raleigh. Right now, that's about a 10-minute delay. And again, that's about the standard for this time of morning. Elsewhere coming into the capital city, 6-minute delay coming in from Apex on US 1. So far, no delays coming in from Garner or Durham. We'll let you know if that changes over the next hour on 101.5 HD3.
Thanks, Chris. This morning, new reactions to the accidental addition of a reporter to a war planning group chat between top security officials. President Trump is defending his defense leaders, saying they should not apologize. The Atlantic's Jeffrey Goldberg says Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard and CIA Director John Ratcliffe were part of the group chat. They were grilled on the issue yesterday during a pre-scheduled hearing about global threats.
My communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information.
There was no classified material that was shared in that signal. So then if there was no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security.
Goldberg says that he may go public with more of the text. He says information that would be considered classified, including attack timing, weapons, and targets, were among the messages. And President Trump signed an executive order to release documents related to the FBI's Russia probe. The investigation focused on Russian interference in the 2016 election and allegations that Trump campaigned colluded with Russia. No evidence of collusion was found. Trump has said that the FBI's investigation was politically motivated. The president signed the order yesterday, saying the probe was total weaponization and that people will now be able to see that for themselves. Today marks 1 year since the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. Investigators are still working to determine who is responsible for the crash that led to that collapse and the deaths of 6 construction workers who were on that bridge when it happened. An NTSB report found a container ship lost power after leaving the Port of Baltimore. It crashed into a support beam of the bridge, causing that collapse. No crew members on the ship have been charged. Transportation safety officials recently found 68 bridges in 19 states should be assessed to see if they are at a risk of a similar collapse. A bill regulating what bathrooms transgender people can use in some state buildings is making its way through the state legislature. North Carolina's last bathroom bill led to boycotts back in 2016. The new bill falls in line with language used by the White House. This bill would involve bathrooms at prisons, domestic violence centers, and public schools like NC State. It has many people wondering how far the impact would be felt. We asked former Governor Pat McCrory about it. The 2016 bathroom bill is widely believed to have cost him his re-election bid.
Public sentiment has changed drastically on this issue, especially with regards to privacy for women and girls in locker rooms.
The restrictions in the new bill are not as sweeping as what was in the 2016 bill. It would not apply to businesses or many government buildings. The University of Pennsylvania says the Trump administration has halted $175 million in research funding. University President J. Larry Jameson says the funding cut is tied to Trump's Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports executive order. In 2022, transgender swimmer Leah Thomas won the NCAA individual title for the school. Jameson says that his school was complying with NCAA policies as they existed at the time. He added UPenn now complies with the policies as they are today. And military veterans and family members who were exposed to cancer-causing water at Camp Lejeune are closer to learning the results of their lawsuit. North Carolina is ground zero for the class action lawsuit involving toxic water. Thousands of cases were filed by military veterans and their families. At a hearing yesterday, plaintiffs asked a judge to approve simulations dealing with toxic water on different parts of Camp Lejeune. If approved, those simulations could determine settlement awards. Law schools across the country are seeing a surge in applications. The Wall Street Journal reports more than 64,000 people are applying to law schools this year. That's a 20% increase. Some students say the political climate is a reason that they're chasing a law degree. Others see it as a more reliable career as tech and government jobs are experiencing layoffs. Our teacher of the week is only in her 3rd year, leading her kindergarten class at Davis Drive Elementary. WRAL's Ken Smith introduces us to an educator who knew from a very young age that she wanted to be a teacher.
This one's going to be emotion.
Allison Taft is homegrown.
Everyone say read. Read. Can you guys tell me the sounds in this word?
And proud to be teaching in the same Wake County school district that educated her. She proudly displays her own first grade picture right outside her classroom.
I had really awesome teachers growing up, and they just really inspired me, and I just wanted to do that for other kids. Reach. What's my word? Reach. Reach. Tell me the sounds in reach.
Taft is a first grade teacher at Davis Drive Elementary School. She remembers deciding to be a teacher around the same age as her current students, and she recalls what her second grade teacher wrote in her journal.
And at the end, it was like, I'll be waiting for you to teach second grade with me in 15 years. Like, I'll share my school supplies with you. So it's been forever. Yeah, I've always wanted to do this.
Now, did you go back to that teacher?
She's not teaching anymore, but I did reach out to her over social media, and she was like, you made my day. Oh my gosh. Soccer. And that one was a tricky word. Okay.
Each and every day, what makes her day is seeing her students learn and thrive.
If a kid's struggling and it really clicks, it just like all the hard work pays off, and like their eyes light up, and it's just amazing. I love watching them like grow, and just seeing them from the beginning of the year to the end is awesome.
Miss Taft, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations. Ken Smith, WRAL News.
And if you would like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box. Well, today the town of Rollsville will unveil a new senior transportation option. The town teamed up with Senior Network, a nonprofit that provides free shuttles for senior residents. Seniors with less mobility will have reliable transport to doctor's appointments, the grocery store, and more. Today's ceremony will start at noon at the Rollsville Town Hall. And Habitat for Humanity is making great progress on a building blitz. Habitat for Humanity of Orange County kicked off a 10-day home building project to complete 4 homes start to finish. It'll wrap up on March 28th with a huge celebration with the building partners, vendors, and home buyers. Coming up, recovering and rebuilding. Today marks 6 months since Hurricane Helene reached western North Carolina. The push for long-term support from leaders in D.C. And variety on the menu. The vendor list for the Dreamville Festival is out now. What we know about the more than 75 options expected this year.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning and happy Wednesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are in for a really nice day today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. You need the coat this morning, though.
It is chilly right now. This afternoon, it won't be quite as warm as it was yesterday, so you might need at least a light jacket even through the afternoon. Here's a live look at Apex this morning, looking great. A little bit quiet there down Salem Street this morning. Our temperatures are mostly in the 40s heading out the door. 47 in Durham, 48 Holly Springs, 42 in Cary. It is 50 in Fayetteville and in Goldsboro. Exercise forecast, perfect for that. I mean, great running weather all day, from 60 degrees at lunchtime to mid-60s this afternoon. Those mid-60s are 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Coming up on Fox 50, we're going to talk about tonight's frost advisory.
And Elizabeth, now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're in Orange County, Churton Street. This is just near Orange Grove Road in Hillsborough. Reports of a serious crash. This is pretty much right after you get off of I-40 there, heading into Hillsborough. Another crash we're following is East Williams Street. This is in Apex. Reportedly a crash with injuries. Keeping an eye on that. And any sort of delay times that we see this morning, some of those look to be typical as they're coming into the capital city. About a 5 to 10 minute delay coming in from Nightdale and Wake Forest. Details to come over on Fox 50.
Thanks, Chris. Tonight, Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell will deliver her first State of the City address. Among her areas of focus, public housing and ending homelessness. Tonight's speech is at 6 p.m. at the Raleigh Convention Center. And Wake County Schools leaders are working toward consistency under a new district-wide policy regulating phone usage in classrooms. School board members can discuss and make changes to the policy over the next month. A final vote is expected in May. Next on Fox 50, today marks 6 months since Hurricane Helene battered western North Carolina.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
2 things you need to know this morning. This afternoon, we have a high fire danger. And then tonight, a frost advisory. I'll show you who's affected.
Also now on Fox 50 at 8:30, due in court, the person charged with murder after crashing a stolen car in Durham will appear before a judge. New details this morning about where police found the suspect after that crash. And improving patient care. Nurses from across the state will gather in downtown Raleigh today. The changes they want legislators to make with multiple health care bills being discussed. Thank you so much for sticking with us here on Fox 50 at 8:30. I'm Michelle McConaughey. Let's get back outside to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with a beautiful view of the gardens in the gardens.
Yes, definitely. Here's what's right behind me, as you can see in the monitor. I'll tell you what you can't see is you can't see the pollen floating in the air, but I can standing right here. Here it goes. And, we're probably with it, it'll be with us, I should say, for about a month or so. It is beautiful other than that, though. 47, nice and cool. Our wind is light at 3 miles per hour. Our temperature 41 in Southern Pines, 48 Rocky Mount, 43 in Roxborough, 50 degrees in Fayetteville. Because of some breezy conditions this afternoon, we have high fire danger again wind today. Likely we'll see that tomorrow as well. And then the frost advisory will drop down into the 30s in many places overnight, from Sanford up to Roxborough, from Wilson up toward Roanoke Rapids. We're looking at the potential for some frost, and we'll go into more detail about that coming up, especially with some specific overnight lows. Afternoon highs today in the mid-60s, a bit cooler than yesterday, but nice and bright.
And Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. One of the things we're watching is something that's being called crash investigation work. This is at Atlantic Avenue near New Hope Church Road in Wake County, something that we're listening out for at the assignment desk here at WRAL. Another one that we're seeing is something that's being called a serious crash on South Churton Street. This is Hillsborough that we're talking about near Orange Grove Road. And then farther south into Apex, East Williams Street. I believe this is near the Hope campus there. This is a crash that reportedly has injuries, according to the fire department. So a lot of things that we're watching so far this morning. In terms of any kind of delay times, this one is down to 5 minutes coming in on I-87 from Knightdale within the last hour. That's gone from 30 minutes to 5. So a big improvement there. About an 11-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest on Capitol Boulevard into Raleigh. That's pretty much the standard this time of morning and should improve over the next hour. Meanwhile, if you're heading into the Bowl City, delays are less than 10 minutes coming in from Hillsborough, Chapel Hill, Wade Avenue, and from North Carolina 50 there. Any updates that we have to share, we'll do so on the radio. 101.5 HD3 on the radio.
Thanks, Chris. Today, nurses from across the state will gather at the legislative building where you are looking live this morning. They're pushing for changes to health care legislation. As WRAL's Kelsey Coffey reports, lawmakers are considering several health care reform bills today.
A dozen health care bills will be presented in the Senate today, and we're expecting to see hundreds of nurses here at Halifax Mall rallying about some of that legislation. Lawmakers are proposing bills on pricing transparency, practicing licenses, and more psychiatric beds. Nursing groups and lawmakers from both sides of the aisle will discuss giving advanced practice registered nurses more authority, a move they say saves money by cutting down on needless red tape. Governor Josh Stein is scheduled to speak to a group of nurses at the Raleigh Convention Center this morning. Then that group will head to Halifax Mall for the rally. After that, those nurses will meet with lawmakers and attend committee hearings. Governor Stein is scheduled to speak this morning at 10 o'clock, and that rally here at Halifax Mall is scheduled for this afternoon at 1. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Tonight, loved ones of a 7-year-old boy who drowned in the Tar River will hold a candlelight memorial service in his honor. This is Ronald Brody Jr. Search crews pulled his body from the river in Franklin County yesterday, more than a week after he fell in the water. Ronald's family, thanked first responders who spent more than 100 hours searching 11 miles of the river and shoreline. They also reflected on Ronald's smile and the memories they have of him.
He was just the sweetest little boy. Like, my little cousin he was something you can just play with all the time. It's a hard pill to lose anyone. It's extremely hard when you lose a child.
Tonight's vigil is at 6 o'clock off Hodges Road near Franklinton. It is open to the public. Today, a Durham man is expected in court on a murder charge in connection with a crash of a stolen car that killed a man. Court documents show 20-year-old Chiron Evans is charged in the death of 53-year-old Jermaine Clements. Authorities accuse Evans of stealing a car on Mount Moriah Road last week. That car crashed into a vehicle early last Wednesday on US 15501. Clements, who was in that other vehicle, was killed. Arrest warrants claim Evans was found hiding in a car at a nearby Kia dealership. Tonight, Raleigh Mayor Janet Cowell her first State of the City address. Cowell will speak at 6 o'clock tonight at the Raleigh Convention Center. She plans to talk about what she and City Council have achieved in her first 100 days. Their top priority areas have been housing and ending homelessness, public safety, and resilience and quality of place. Well, new this morning in a statement released after 11:30 last night, Durham Superintendent Anthony Lewis says it is essential that Durham educators get a seat at the table in the district's decision making. Lewis made the statement after hundreds rallied last night. The Durham Association of Educators is pushing for a meet and confer policy and union recognition. Their priorities include budget transparency and fixing the transportation crisis. Right now, 3 out of 7 school board members are backing the educators in their push.
Our outcome tonight was really also hoping that we could encourage one more board member to vote in favor of our policy.
I don't get a chance to dictate who they bring to the table, and I feel strongly that they shouldn't get to dictate who I bring to the table.
Lewis says he will reach out to the educators with dates for future negotiations. The Durham School Board meets tomorrow night. Well, today marks 6 months since Hurricane Helene began battering western North Carolina. Today, more than a dozen local leaders from that region will be in Washington, D.C. to raise awareness for their ongoing recovery and long-term needs. Representatives from several communities will meet with senior leaders from FEMA, the White House, and Capitol Hill. Their trip to D.C. comes after the launch of the Western North Carolina Recovery and Resilience Partnership. The community-led effort is working to secure financial support, resources, and policy changes to help their recovery and rebuilding. A doctor from our area is working in Gaza as tensions escalate in the Israel-Hamas war. Dr. Mark Perlmutter shared this video with us after an Israeli airstrike hit the hospital where he was working in southern Gaza over the weekend. This is his second trip volunteering his services in Gaza, where more than 50,000 Palestinians have now been killed since the start of the war. Dr. Perlmutter has worked in disaster zones around the world for decades. He says this is the worst he's ever seen.
I've seen misery and I've seen death, but none of it comes close combined to what I've seen in Gaza the first week last year or the night of the bombing this year.
Dr. Perlmutter tells us he plans to return in about 6 months. And covering Wake County, school board members are expressing their skepticism over proposed budget cuts. Superintendent Robert Taylor plans to ask county commissioners for $40 million more dollars. He's also looking to cut more than $18 million to help balance the budget. That means cutting many staff members, including 20 school counselors and social workers. Board members say those cuts would put more responsibilities on workers. The superintendent is also proposing to cut the district's contribution to employee dental insurance. Raleigh's new police chief will officially be sworn in next week. A ceremony for Chief Rico Boyce will be held next Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Southeast Raleigh Magnet High School. It'll be open to the public. Boyce has been with the department for 25 years, most recently as deputy chief. The city named him to take over for retiring Chief Estella Patterson at the end of February. Well, coming up, shifting the school year. The new year could start earlier under a new bill. Why legislators on both sides of the aisle agree with this move. And our official rap anthem, a song from a Greenville native, could be recognized as the state hip hop song. The props for Petey Pablo. And it's going to be a little cooler today. You are looking live over a beautiful Pinehurst. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tells us what's tamping down temperatures today and when we'll climb into the 80s. Welcome back on your Wednesday morning as we take a live look over downtown Raleigh this morning. Beautiful blue skies and sunshine. It's going to be a great day to get outside. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is outside right now on the weather patio with a look at the beautiful gardens. Things are starting to bloom.
They are. A couple of, like in my eyesight right over here, I can see a couple of azaleas that have maybe 1 or 2 blooms a piece on them. So I feel like once we hit that 80-degree day on Saturday, I think the garden is really going to start to pop. Definitely next week. Typically, it's the first 2 or 3 weeks of April that it's really prime. And so it's coming. I mean, really, really soon. 47 is our current temperature. We'll climb into the mid-60s for later on this afternoon, which will be a little cooler than yesterday. We're mostly in the mid-40s to near 50 right now. 45 in Roxborough, 46 South Hill, 51 in Goldsboro, and 41 currently in Southern Pines. A few more temperatures closer to the Triangle. 37, our cool spot there in Chapel Hill. Garner's at 48 and Apex at 47 degrees. Around town, mid-60s for both Raleigh and Durham, 69 degrees for Fayetteville this afternoon. We do have the frost advisory overnight tonight. Their temperatures are going to dip into the 30s across much of the viewing area, and especially the Sandhills from, say, Sanford northward up through Durham to Roxborough, Warrenton, Lewisburg, Wilson, Rocky Mount, Enfield, all in that frost advisory for tonight. Here's a look at some of those potential temperatures. Down to 32 in Roxborough, 34 South Hill and in Roanoke Rapids, 36 in Durham, 38 Benson, 39 in Fayetteville. So again, it's the northern half of the viewing area that'll give us the best chance for some frost. If you have planted anything and you're in those northern counties, you probably want to try to cover it before you go to bed tonight. The blue shaded area, temperature is below normal, so we'll continue to see that tomorrow. But we get into the day Friday and we start to see temperatures really climbing, and it'll be a nice warm weekend for us. Our winds are starting to pick up in a few places, around 5 to 10 miles per hour right now, becoming gusty this afternoon at about 15 to 20. And so that means we have high fire danger again today and likely tomorrow. I love Renee's photo that she sent me. This is a look at the cherry trees on the other side of the building there, facing Western Boulevard. Absolutely beautiful. Go to WRAL.com/reportit and send us your photos. Of course, our pollen count is high, and that's going to stay the case probably for the next month. We have a chance for thunderstorms Sunday afternoon and Monday. Monday, some of those could be severe. We'll talk more about that in a bit.
And Elizabeth, happening now in the traffic center, still keeping an eye on this crash in Orange County near Hillsborough. This is South Churton Street southbound near Orange Grove Road. It's being called a serious crash. Haven't heard much in the way of details on that, but we'll keep looking for those details and pass anything along that we find out in the 9 o'clock hour of news. Also, as you head into Apex on East William Street, and again, I believe this is near the Hope campus there. This is right near 55 and Technology Drive. There's a crash that reportedly has injuries, that according to the Apex Fire Department so far this morning. Elsewhere in the area, just a 3-minute delay now coming in from Knightdale on I-87 heading into the capital city. That's better than the 30-minute delay that we had just about an hour ago. And then also from Wake Forest, now a 9-minute delay coming in on Capitol Boulevard. That's pretty much what you would typically expect this time of morning, and that continues to improve as well. About a 5 to 10-minute delay heading into the Bull City this morning, whether that's from Raleigh, Chapel Hill, or Hillsborough. Michelle?
All right, thank you, Chris. Spring is here, and that means egg hunts and visits with the Easter Bunny. WRAL lifestyle editor Kathy Hanrahan has a list of events to check out with your family. Kathy, good morning. Let's start off with places to see the Easter Bunny. I can't believe we're already here.
Can you believe it? It's just so crazy. Okay, the bunny is hopping into the local malls. He's definitely there right now. You can find him at Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh through April 20th. Over in Fayetteville, over at Cross Creek Mall, starting on Friday. He's going to be there through April 19th. The bunny's also at Bass Pro Shops on select weekends, and that's in Cary and Gardner. And you can catch him on April 5th and the 6th, and then the 12th through the 20th.
Oh, those pictures with little kids and the Easter Bunny are always so cute. When do the Easter egg hunts start?
There's so many, and they're coming up. I was just looking at them a little while ago. Egg hunts start on Friday morning with the preschool egg hunt at Pullen Community Center in Raleigh. On April 5th, we've got Wake Forest. They're changing things up. It's going to be a drop-in event where you can show up at Joyner Park, and you have like a 2-hour window to kind of come in, get your eggs, and leave. It's pretty nice. If you'd rather work a little harder to get your eggs, this next event is definitely for you. The Campus Hills Pool in Durham, they do an annual spring egg dive. It's on April 5th. Registration's required. Yes, you dive in the pool to get your eggs.
Oh my goodness.
Register early. It always fills up.
What? That is so much fun. What tips should parents know before they take their children to egg hunts?
Just always check. I always tell people check the age groups and the times, because most of the times it's separated by age. So make sure your kid's in the right age group and get there early, because you don't want to miss the egg hunt completely.
Yeah, they're always so much fun. I love it. All right, thank you, Kathy. And we have a full list of Easter events, including egg hunts for dogs. Yes, for dogs. Just go to WRAL.com and search keyword family. Well, today, Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler will be in Polk County to address the response to wildfires there, as well as the status of the statewide burn ban. More than 1,000 acres have been scorched in 3 fires. Polk County launched an interactive map that shows which areas are under evacuation and who needs to be on standby. Right now, dozens of evacuations are related to the fires. It is unclear how many buildings have been damaged. Debris from Hurricane Helene is helping to fuel the fire. A ceasefire agreement has been reached for Ukrainian and Russian ships in the Black Sea. The White House issued statements saying the sides have agreed to ensure safe navigation, eliminate the use of force, and prevent the use of commercial vessels for military purposes in the Black Sea. Details of the prospective deal have yet to be released. It is likely similar to a 2022 agreement over the region, but will address Russian demands to protect their Black Sea exports.
Jeff Hogan at the WRAL Live Center. Also in the Middle East, the Israeli military has demanded that Gaza City, folks who live there, Palestinians, remove themselves, get out of harm's way because of the attacks that are renewed now and stepped up in an offensive against Hamas. This is part of the damage that you see done here. These are part of the tent city. Israel has vowed to increase its military pressure until those militants of Hamas return the remaining hostages, 24 of whom are believed to be alive. Israel has also demanded that Hamas disarm and send its leaders into exile. Hamas has said it will not release the remaining hostages without a lasting ceasefire deal and full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza City.
All right, thanks for that update, Jeff. House Democrats are pushing back on the detention of Mahmoud Khalil. Khalil is the Columbia University graduate student who was arrested for his role in leading pro-Palestinian protests on campus. The Trump administration says he could face deportation. Congressional leaders spoke out against Khalil's detention at a rally.
The administration targeting people for detention based on their political views should send a chill down the spine of every single American.
Khalil is a permanent resident with a green card who is married to an American citizen. The State Department has also revoked the student visa of Cornell graduate student Mamoudou Tal for his role in a pro-Palestinian protest. Tal appeared in court yesterday as the Justice Department works to remove him from the U.S. Well, the school year could start earlier under a new bill. North Carolina Senate Leader Phil Berger and 2 other senators filed a bill that would allow schools to start the year a week earlier than what's currently allowed. It would also strip some funding from school boards that refuse to comply with it. Berger says it's time for a compromise between school districts, which prefer an earlier start, and the tourism industry, which prefers the later start. Wake County School Board Chairman Chris Haggerty has long pushed for an earlier start date.
Majority of our state legislators, urban, rural, Democrat, Republican, all support more calendar flexibility, but it's been held up year after year. So this is an encouraging move.
If the bill becomes law, it would also require schools that start earlier to end before Memorial Day. P.D. Pablo's rap anthem, Raise Up, may become North Carolina's official hip-hop song. The state Senate introduced the bill. Raise Up was released in 2021 as a tribute to North Carolina. It's been used as the Carolina Hurricanes goal song, as well as in other celebratory ways. P.D. Pablo's real name is Moses Barrett III. He was born and raised in Greenville. Last year, he was inducted into the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. And speaking of music, in less than 2 weeks, the 5th and final Dreamville Festival will take over Dix Park. Organizers released the food and drink lineup. More than 75 restaurants, food trucks, and chefs are expected at this year's festival. And general admission plus tickets are sold out, but VIP tickets are still available. It'll be held Saturday, April 5th and Sunday, April 6th at Dix Park in Raleigh. Lil Wayne headlines Saturday night. J. Cole will headline on Sunday. Well, trying to save when booking a hotel online could actually be costing you more. A report from the Wall Street Journal urges people to avoid using the sponsored advertisements that pop up when searching for a hotel online. These are usually the top results and typically say sponsored above the link. According to the report, these rooms are most likely not a direct booking with a hotel, but rather with bigger agencies and could cost you hundreds of dollars more. All right, we'll be right back with more news, weather, and traffic after the break.